And I went through your business manifesto and your main manifesto. So first off, on the crime area, what are you going to do to reduce crime in Greater Manchester?
Well, crime is my number one priority, and it's where I'm an expert in as well. I spent years based in police stations. I've trained police officers. I've designed award-winning crime reduction projects. I've advised 3 different prime ministers on how to do this. I'm an expert when it comes to crime reduction. And what I'm going to be doing is straight away, I'll be turning Greater Manchester Police, the police service, back into a police force. That's what we need. No more pink and fluffy. No more soft touch policing. I want a police force. I want criminals scared stiff of the police. I don't want me and you scared of the police unless we're criminals. We need to go back to basics. We need to go back to dealing with criminals on the streets. No more police officers sat online trolling through Facebook and Twitter looking for hurty words. I'm going to deprioritise all online issues. I want officers back on the streets. I want officers who are not fit enough to be dismissed. I want officers who can't do the job dismissed. I want senior police officers who are a waste of time and got promoted because they ticked a box. I want them dismissed, and we'll replace all those police officers with new recruits. I'll be looking at redesigning the recruitment process within Greater Manchester Police because I'm sick of recruiting people because they tick a box. I want the best people for the job. I want 6'6" ex-rugby players and ex-army getting the jobs for the police. Because that's when you're being mugged by 5 lads on a Saturday night in the city centre and you see a police officer running towards you. You want to see a 6'6" bruiser running towards you, not a 4'7" woman running towards you in a police uniform. We need to get back to common sense. That doesn't mean there's no roles for women in the police. There is, and we need women police officers, but not for tackling serious crime. We don't. So let's stop pretending to be woke and pink and fluffy. Let's get back to what we need to do, which is hammer criminals. And I make no apologies for that. So that's what we do about the police.
Andy Burnham was on BBC Radio in Manchester not long ago, and he said that there would be no congestion charge under him as mayor for the clean air zone. This is, I'm
Yep.
sure, just so viewers know. So why is it such a big issue?
Well, he is a classic career politician. Talk about U-turns. The clean air zone charging scheme in Greater Manchester was his idea. He asked government powers for him to implement a clean air zone, which you don't have to charge for, but he wanted it. And then when he got the power to do it, he wanted it to charge. So this was all his idea. But what happened was when he almost implemented it, he realised it was unpopular. And just like a career politician, a sensible career politician, he went, oh, I'm not going to do that. The people don't like it. So now it's all been scrapped. And now he said, there's not going to be any congestion charge while I'm mayor. Very careful with his words, Andy Burnham, while I'm mayor. We don't think he's going to be mayor much longer. He's going to leave and go to Westminster, which means the person who comes in after him can flick a switch and we'll have congestion charging almost overnight. Now, nobody wants congestion charges. Nobody wants ULEZ. Nobody wants CAS. Nobody wants 15-minute cities. Nobody wants pay per mile. No one wants these apart from politicians because it's an easy way to rob motorists even more than they're already being robbed. And what will it do with those finances coming in? Politicians will use it to make themselves look good. They'll spend on their pet projects to make them look wonderful so they get elected again. This is all about grabbing money off the motorists. Now, my policy is I'll be scrapping it all. CAS will be scrapped, which it is now, but I'll be pulling down all the cameras. I'll be cancelling all the contracts. My initial thought was we'll keep all the cameras and we'll hand them over to the police, in which case we can really crack down on crime. But then I realised if I leave all the infrastructure in place, the mayor who comes after me can flick a switch and we're back to square one again. So those cameras have to come down. I'm not looking at implementing any more cycle lanes. I'm against net zero. It's stupid. It's killing us. It's making us poorer. So there'll be no green agenda under my administration. I reject all of it.
So could you just clarify them points about the green agenda and climate change, if you will?
Yep, climate change. Climate change is real. Climate is changing. The climate's changed every day since the world was created. The climate's always changing. Is there a climate emergency? No, there isn't. Do we have to worry about it? No, we don't. Should we look at pollution? Of course we should. But aren't we always looking at pollution? Every new technology that comes along is cleaner and greener. I've not got a problem with that. I don't want to live in polluted cities. But this lunacy of thinking the world's ending, that we're all going to burn to death or we're going to drown to death, is all silliness. There is no climate emergency, and we need to stop thinking there is. There's no evidence.
So you don't think that CAS is needed for any environmental reasons, right?
No, there's no need for CAS in the first place. In Greater Manchester, the reason why we had polluted air was with certain areas in Greater Manchester, trunk roads going into the city centre, which the government said there's far too much car pollution in those areas. The answer to that is electric buses. That's the answer. We don't need a cars. We don't need to charge anyone. We don't need to do anything. We just need to turn some of our public transport, which is the buses, greener. Either buy better engines for them or have electric buses. I've not got a problem with solutions to pollution. Nobody wants dirty air. But what politicians do and what the Green Lobby does is they jump on one small problem and go, to solve this small problem, we've now got to tear down the whole of society and live in caves. That's not an answer. Technology will get us out of any problem that we're suffering from at the moment. Technology will.
So I'm conscious for time, so if we move on to another point in your manifesto about how you're going to end rough sleeping in a year, how will you do that?
National disgrace. That's what rough sleeping is in a 21st century UK. A national disgrace. We have marches every weekend now because some people in Gaza have been bombed. But we have no marches for our fellow citizens living and dying on the streets, lying in excrement, covered in rats. We have no marches for them. We have no one waving flags for that. And me and you and everyone else is to blame for that because deep down inside we don't care. If we cared, politicians would know we cared and they'd solve it overnight. We can spend £7 million a day on hotel rooms for illegal immigrants, but we can't get our people off the streets. Disgraceful, absolutely disgraceful. So how will I solve it? I've been involved in rough sleeping for 2 decades. I've chaired multi-agency meetings when I worked for the council, with the NHS, the police, drug services. I understand rough sleeping. I've run and created rough sleeping projects in Manchester city centre to get people off the streets. It's easy to solve rough sleeping. All it takes is a backbone and determination. So how will I do it? We open up some hostels straight away. So disused warehouses, we fill them with garden sheds. Each garden shed is an individual living pod. We have support services based there. We have security based there, and we get people off the streets the same day. We overcome some of the issues like, I can't take help off you because I've got a dog and none of your accommodation takes dogs. No, we'll build kennels. How simple an answer is that? We'll build kennels so you can take your dog. Another excuse is, well, I'm a drug user and you won't allow drug users into your hostels because I take drugs every night. Well, you can take drugs in our hostel. If we see it, you'll be arrested because it's illegal. But if you take drugs quietly and we don't see for the first couple of weeks while we get you onto a drug treatment, that's fine. Because I want people off the streets. I'm tired of us making excuses why we can't help these individuals. Now that's
Could you not
Sorry.
Could you not regulate them drugs and have them in there legally as some sort of treatment at first?
No, the mayor cannot make new rules and new laws. So all we can do is follow the laws that exist at the moment. So it's about getting them off the streets day one. We will do anything to get them off the streets because once you're off the streets, you're easy to work with. Because then you get a decent night's sleep, you start taking less drugs. We can start, the services can start working with you every day. Because how do you get worked with when you're living in an entry? And the services never do outreach work. So how do you get help? But when they know you're in that bed every day, they can come visit you every day and get you on different pathways to reduce your drugs. That's part of the problem. And Andy Burnham has tried some of this. And Andy Burnham has been successful getting some people off the streets. But the reason why the numbers aren't going down, they're actually going up, by the way. But the reason why he's not succeeding, because every time he gets some off the streets, they get replaced. We have people from all over Greater Manchester and all over the world coming to Greater Manchester to be homeless and sleep on the street. So it's a never-ending problem because he won't address what needs to be addressed, which is prevention. And what I'll be doing is I will be ensuring no begging in Greater Manchester, because begging funds drugs, and drugs is why people are living on the streets. So let's end begging, so there's no more incentive to live on the streets. The people who go out and hand out sleeping bags and food, the Facebook groups who do this, they're lovely people. I don't want them handing stuff out on the streets because that makes it more comfortable to live on the streets. I want them adopting one of the hostels and going to the hostels and working with the people in the hostels to get them a better life, to feed them, to get them new clothes, to get them into jobs. So I want Greater Manchester to be a no rough sleeping region. We need to stop the conveyor belt of more and more broken people in Greater Manchester going on the streets. That's how we end rough sleeping in a year. It can be done, and it's not even going to take that much money.
And just quickly moving on from that because of the time, but before you quickly mentioned it, but about 13-year-olds having Saturday jobs. Why do you believe that is a good idea, and what businesses will take them on?
Well, I'm not sure what businesses will take them on. It's a good idea because I did it and all my friends did it. It's about working for a living. It's about showing young people that, how to earn your own money. If you want a new Nintendo game, well, get a Saturday job and earn it yourself, and stop having your hand out to your mum or waiting to Father Christmas to drop it in December into your stocking. Take some responsibility. Start working alongside adults, especially men, and find out what it's like to be a man and the responsibility you take on, and having to wake up early in the morning to do a job, and to make sure when you start a job you complete it and you do it to your best ability. And it doesn't matter if the job isn't that important. It's about doing it to your best ability. That's how you develop pride in yourself, that you put yourself into that task. Some businesses might not want these kids doing Saturday jobs, but I'm sure many will. And the reason why they don't take them now is because they're scared. They're scared of HR. They're scared of health and safety. They're scared of all these new rules. But as mayor, I'll devise templates that businesses can download off the website. So, consent forms, so that those kids' parents can sign saying, I give you permission. Rules and regulations that they can download, so you'll understand the earliest you can get them to work. Because I don't want kids working at 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't want kids climbing up chimneys. I don't want to go back to those days. So I will create rules and regulations for Greater Manchester that employees can download and go, well, I now know if I follow these rules, I'm within the law and it's perfectly acceptable because the mayor supports this. That's what I'll be doing.
And just finally, you've said that you will create a waste and incompetence watchdog to inform the public on how their taxes are wasted. So how much will that cost the taxpayer?
So it'll cost the mayor's office a little bit, probably one person, but this is about showing the voter how much of your tax money is being wasted. So I won't be able to solve probably any of the problems we're highlighting, unless it's usually within the police. That's the only thing the mayor's got full control over. But anything else I can highlight. I can show the people what's happening to their money, why their councils are incompetent. Now, more than just showing it, because everyone can do that, I want to start naming and shaming senior civil servants. I want to say, this is the person who just spent £5 million on a new computer system that doesn't work. This is the named person. I want to name and shame people who are wasting our tax money, so you can hold them accountable as the voter. So you can hold your local councillor and your MP accountable, going, why is that person in a job? Why is that person wasting my money? And as an MP, as a councillor, I'm not going to vote for you now because you can't control anything in this area and you're wasting my money and you're providing incompetent services. That's how we start changing some of these services. We've got to give senior civil servants some skin in the game. And I'd like to get to a stage where there's a meeting with senior civil servants in the council about something and they go, oh, I'm not too sure about this. Because if this goes wrong, That crazy mayor of ours is going to name all of us, and I'm not prepared to have him name us. Therefore, we need to do a better job on this, because I'm not going to let this ruin my career because of that crazy mayor. How wonderful would that be? Senior civil servants going, I'm going to do a better job on this because I don't want to lose my career. That's how it should be. If you like that video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell and comment. And if you like what I'm saying about running for Mayor of Greater Manchester, then stick around. Tell your family, tell your friends. The only way I'm going to have a chance of winning is a grassroots movement. So be part of that movement and hit that bell. Thanks.